Yorkshire Free Peaks.
Is this a video?
It's a video.
Oh, it's a video.
It's a video.
Can we go back now?
Welcome to the Tea and Trails podcasts. Who have we got here today?
Robin. Doing the arc. So training in the wrong place completely, along with
Amy.
Who have we got over here? Jaco.
Jack.
And Mr. Chin at the back, who doesn't listen to podcasts, but we're trying our best. Peace.
Because I always mess up the spreadsheets, I just kept it in a different.
Oh my God, Eddie! I went on the other day.
I know. I'm
it.
sorry, I destroyed it. I stopped. I was like, I can't do this. Oh no, he's gonna get so cross.
Dear listener, Eddie does not know how to copy and paste onto a Google document. It all went. All the we love your tales from the trails. It all vanished. Who goes first? Is it me to go first?
Yes.
Hello and welcome to the Tea and Trails podcast. Hopefully our dulcet tones will brighten things up for you. I don't know about you, Eddie, but I think the older I get, it hits hard. Big time, not ready for Christmas to be over. But we've been given a little sprinkling of the white stuff just to kind of keep us in the mood.
Do you think it's the children? Because you know that you've lost one to the dark side already. Like the Christmases change and then you're like holding on to them and you know that that's the last few of like that. And you can see like as your kids get older as well, it just changes. They're just in bed for most of Christmas. Oh,
definitely. You know, I craved the routine. Don't get me wrong. You know, there was this blur in between Christmas and New Year. But now I'm sitting here on a cold Tuesday morning. George is at college. Esme's upstairs. God knows, probably still asleep. Lisa's at work. Rex is upstairs too. Yeah, it's sad times. So if that sounds like you, my friend, let's try and get through this together. Oh, I love this intro. Mates on the trails making memories. Between them, you're looking at someone's doing the full arc, full summer spine challenges south, UTS 100 and the full winter spine for Kingsley. I wonder if Kingsley's going to be listening to this on the way to Edale this weekend. Well, good luck, Kingsley. I'll be watching your Also, good luck to everybody else towing the line at one of the various spine races. How many do we have these days? So we've got the Spine Challenger South, North, Full Spine.
Sprint South, Sprint North now. That Pennine Way is going to be ram-packed. Excuse me. Hello. Sorry, can I just get past? Hang on a second.
Best of luck, everybody. Please keep those intros coming. Email them to hello@teaandtrails.com.
Special big portion of 2026 love to our patrons, especially if you bought Patreon for a loved one. We really appreciated all your love and support this year and going into 2026. Don't forget, if you want a Snoodle bobble hat, you need to add your address to Patreon. No address, no goodies. Also, join Patreon for a year and you save 10% on your membership. And if you join the Legend tier or above, we'll send you a bobble hat too.
Thanks to X Miles, Precision Fuel and Hydration, Harrier Trail Running and Phoenix Light UK for sponsoring this week's show. X Miles is a family-owned independent endurance sports retailer that provides nutritional goods, apparel and accessories to help athletes perform and recover at their best. X Miles offer a wide range of high-quality products from leading brands, and their team of nutrition experts, cyclists, runners and outdoor enthusiasts can provide expert advice and guidance to help you reach your goals. Whether you're a seasoned athlete or just getting started, X Miles is the perfect place for everything you need to succeed. Fancy trying some new products without committing to buying a load of something that you might not get along with? You might want to try X Miles monthly nutrition box, new fuel every month. It's the easiest way to try fresh products and flavours at below normal prices. I've got some dates for you. Buy a one-off box for $13.99 plus £2.99 shipping, or subscribe for 10% off at $12.59 per month, and that will get you free shipping. You got vegan option available, 8 products in every box, no duplicates within 6 months, no hidden fees. Skip a month, cancel at any time. Listeners get 10% store credit at www.xmiles.co.uk via the link in the show notes.
And if you've got hungry kids like I do, if you don't like anything in the box, then you just add it into the kid snack box and it'll soon disappear if you tell them that it's got 40 grams of protein in it.
Fun times, Eddie. I've been reunited with my trusted
You can call off the search party. Where was it?
I've got this like a mid-washing basket, which is kind of clothes
that What the hell is a mid-washing basket?
Clothes that are on current rotation that are not dirty enough to be washed.
Most people call that their chair. their chair that they have.
That's kind of...
Yeah. Every few weeks I have to go to the chair, and then you find something that you go, I totally forgot about that T-shirt. Give it a sniff, pop that one back on.
Well, I'm glad I found it, because I did feel a bit of an imposter rocking my Elite Trail team cap. I was thinking about this though. Is it any different to wearing a football top? Just because I wear a Sunderland strip, it doesn't mean I'm pretending I'm in the Sunderland team.
Well, this is why I'm judgy. If anybody puts on a football strip, I'm like, do you play for them?
Oh, Sunday, George and I on the sofa, matching Sunderland tops. Sensational.
With your X Miles box, dipping in and out.
Well, pop over to UCookUp Projects if you would like an awesome Tea and Trails cap. And don't forget, patrons receive 20% off. Also, all you lovely listeners can enjoy 10% off with the code T10. If you're looking for the discount codes, then head over to Patreon, teaandtrails.com, or check out the show notes where you'll find our link tree. Also, stick around to the bitter end if you want to be in with a chance of winning an awesome Phoenix head torch. Is it head torch or head lamp? Where do you stand?
We're not in the Victorian times. Headlamp gives the vision of somebody trying to light the lamp with a... Well, hang on a sec. Just stop there, because I can't get that match to light that lamp on your head. And, watch out, dude. It's got on the bush. Head torch all the way.
I put headlamp in the Instagram comp notes and the visual, but I was just following Phoenix's lead. That's what they have on there.
One of their lead. It might
But I
be
got called out in the comments.
Shut up. What did they say?
I think it was all caps, head torch, about 10 exclamation marks. I might have just embellished that a little bit.
Gary, got a question.
What's up, my love?
What's up, my love? Have you got the Northern Traverse butt clenching fear slightly? Have you looked at your plan and gone, we're starting to get into the nitty gritty?
I've got the Hard Mowers Saltburn Marathon squeaky bum, because that's literally...
What does that matter? Why would you even...
Well, that's the immediate problem coming up in February. I think it's the first weekend of February.
I entered a race on the first weekend of February too, because I thought I need something to kick my ass out the door. And I need something to test my fueling. And in a little bit of a race, not a race, but just, I think, don't you find this? If you put a number on, it adds 5 heartbeats to your easy pace.
It's phenomenal. I've said this probably 2 weeks in the trot now, that the long run on your own is really tough. Thinking about trying to build confidence for the races ahead, sometimes a long run is quite demoralising, but you put a bib on, all of a sudden... 20 plus
rip
miles.
Your throat out as well.
Yeah.
Long run, we can chat, we'll go along, the slower the better, we'll eat snacks, we'll stop to pee, put a number on me, and I'm like, I'm going into zone 5 for 6 hours. No way could I run in that zone for 6 hours by myself.
We're coming into Buttermere, Lakeland 100, 4 of us, I think, at that point, actually, trotting along. Lovely. We'd done 26 miles roughly at that point in the race. I did 23, 22 on Sunday, all super easy. Never went into zone 3 once. I was struggling. I was hanging at the end. Big time.
Is that mentally hanging or just Christmas tiredness?
Probably a bit of Christmas tiredness, but also, you'll see a race week, you're not at the end of a 90-mile week.
Yes, you have to remember that, don't you? You have to remember that when you do your long run. That I get that a lot in athletes, is that they're like, they're training for 120 miles feels like you're tired. Well, I did a massive hike with the kids. It had its drama. We'll talk about that in a bit. But felt a really long way. One of them was like, I think I could do the spine, Mum. I think I'd really enjoy it. And I was like, you've got to do that 25 times what we've just done. What's your workouts been looking at? Like, I felt really rusty getting back into workouts. I have not felt like a gazelle. I felt like a mince pie with 2 little stick legs coming out of it.
I did a switcheroo because we talked the other week that maybe I should switch things up. And it wasn't really that much of a switcheroo. I just went back to my steady runs. 2 steady runs. It works out 10 miles.
Are you still following the app, or are you just like...
Yeah.
Okay.
Still on the app. I enjoyed. And then there was also supposed to be an easy run with some hill sprints, which I didn't do the hill sprints. Sorry, folks. 2 steady runs. I'm loving those. Up and about. You're up and about. They're like, the first one I did was like a real confidence boosting run, because the last 2.5 miles of it had a net drop of about 300 feet.
I looked at that. I was like, you loved that last mile. And also, I think you're getting close to Lisa in the cafe, and you were like,
Yeah.
And Kipchoge.
And And I wasn't feeling it, because I'd been really leaning on the treadmill for all my workouts, and I really thought of going outside and doing a run, really float my boat. But I zipped up my big boy pants and got it done, and it was great. And if you're going to design a route, try and get a 300-foot net downhill over 2.5 miles. Some of those, I think one of the miles was like 6:20, so that's I'll be happy with that on a 5K, let alone trying to do 10 mile at that pace. The second workout, I took my eye off the ball with this one because it was sandwiched in between 12 mile of running in total and then 10 mile at this steady pace. I would say 2 hours of running, easy.
Okay,
that was one workout. And then the other workout was this steady 10. It's actually a duration.
All on one day?
Yes. And I never really appreciated the task. So I didn't go into that workout setting myself up for success. So I did the run with Rex in the morning. Super easy. Lots of sniffing, lots of weighing. Then I ran to the gym, just over 3 miles. And then I did my 10 on the treadmill.
Okay. Jeez, yeah.
And then I ran back. And the workout was fine.
Was that a bit sad?
Yeah, I was absolutely fucked. Basically, dragged my.
What do you do when you walk in through the door after that sort of thing? Because it drives me mad. Because I walk in through the door and I sit down, and Bryn's like, "Do you gonna go and have a shower?" And I'm like, "I just need to take the weight off my poor battered and just give me tea and food. Just can't do anything. Can't even have a shower until I've fed." So.
I totally didn't appreciate the task at hand. I looked at the plan. I've got today, if I do the session, that is the same session today. So I've been out of Rex already. Got to run to the gym. I can't do it on the streets. I don't know what you want to say where you live.
Yeah, there's no. I had to wear my super grippy shoes with the dogs today, and I had my head torch. Possibly it was more like a headlamp, and I was like, "Don't go that way! Don't go that way!"
So the workout wise, I think they were pretty. Although I was hanging on the last 3 miles as I ran home, some of the miles were under marathon pace, some of them were just over marathon pace, and I love the fact how if you said to me, Eddie, go and do a 10-mile run at marathon pace. I was slightly slower than marathon pace, but for argument's sake, do a 10-mile run at marathon pace.
Feel what it feels like.
That would fill me with dread. The thought of doing that kind of effort for 10 miles. Now it's being flipped to steady at 10, and the pace really isn't important, but some of those miles do coincide with what I'd like to be doing at marathon pace.
I very rarely set pace goals apart from when we're getting into the real specifics of marathon training for my athletes. And I do use those. I think using the word steady is because doesn't put fear. It doesn't make you cross your legs, go, oh, it's steady. Yeah. Steady to tempo is one of my favorite expressions because I think you can start the session steady and you're like, I'm in control. There's nothing scary here. I'm in my safe place. I'm surrounded by friends. And then you can build. And if you nearly always do, however tired you are, as you get going, we're athletes. We love it. And we're like, oh, Phil, I could progress a little bit faster. I had a massive volume week, my biggest volume week, Gary, since, should we call it red blood cell gate? I did almost 20 hours on my feet last week, which is a heroic effort. There was a lot of hiking in there. We'd say half hiking, half running. We have been braced with the cold snap up here as much as everybody, but we haven't had the snow. We've sort of been like on the snow line, go 1-2 miles north of us, and we decided to go on a bit of a hike with the kids, big hike. We looked at the mountain forecast, which is the app I use on my, it's a really good one, and it tells you the wind speed at the top of the mountains. You can be down at the bottom and be like, it looks fine up there, clear day. So the wind speed was top gusts of 40 kilometers an hour. So I was like, that's windy, but that's okay. Yep. I drew the map on Strava and I was like, oh, it's 11 miles. That's quite spicy. And I was like, that's okay. They'll be fine. They don't need to know that. Of course, now, since Markathon, they've got my cast off Garmin's. So they were like, knowing how long, and I think I got to about 2 miles and he was just like, how many kilometers is this? And I was like,
oh, that's early to be asking.
She was like, we've only done 2. Anyway, we were a bit rushed to get out. There's not enough daylight. We didn't leave enough daylight. So we realized we're going to finish this route in the dark. They've been loving their head torches in Markathon. So this was the end of our Markathon as well. Just give a bit of kudos to my kids. We did the Markathon. They did amazing. They were out early when we traveled. They got up at 7 and did their run before. They did runs when we came back from traveling. They did runs late. They were legends.
Rock stars, honestly.
So we decided to finish it with this big adventure, but we left a bit late. It was all a bit of a rush. I was trying to find my watch. I was trying to get this route on my watch, and we got out of the car and Evie's in her netball shoes with no grip that have got a bit of the heelers rubbed in the back. I was like, okay, right. So we started off, and within a march, I was like, it's actually, my heel is actually really hurting. I took the trainer off and it's all gone. It's like the heel has rubbed through into the plastic bit. Hero that is Bryn gets his first aid kit out with all the tape and everything. We taped it all up. We taped her heel up. And I was like, you need to tell me now if this hurts, because we're about to head up. This is the turnaround point. If not, once we commit into this hill, we got to do the circle. And of course, being a son, she was like, I will. The brother's looking at her going, are you a quitter? Are you going to be the one that quits this? And she was like, no, I'm okay. So we're walking around this lock. The wind was strong, but it was fine. It was lovely, beautiful, clear day. We go up into the Munro. We take a left-hand turn, and literally the weather goes from like a cold winter's day into an Arctic snowstorm. There is suddenly snow everywhere. The wind is so strong we can't hear each other. But I've been watching the Taylor Swift documentary, and in that she says, I told you this before, she says, I am the driver of my plane. And she says, if you're on an aeroplane and if you hit some turbulence or you're about to hit some turbulence, the pilot doesn't come on and say, oh my God, guys. I'm really scared. I don't know how I'm going to do this. He comes on going, I'm really sorry, but he's got like a monitor. Always they have the same tone, don't they? I'm really sorry. You're going to hit some turbulence. It's absolutely fine. Just buckle in. And you're totally like, okay. So you're like, he's not panicking. So, and she's the same. She's like, when people are in my concerts, I can't, I have to be the leader. So I was like, I channeled my inner Taylor Swift thinking, this is really strong. We get to the top of the Munro where they always have a little shelter out of the stones, don't they? And I get Roz and Eve's in there. I can't get in there because the wind is so strong. I can't get around it. So I'm shouting in, get your buffs around your head, get your hats on, get your extra coat on. Roz, help us with her buff. And I'm like, with the wind. And I'm like, oh my God. But I can't, even inside, I'm going, oh my God, what have I done? I'm like, just be like, this is totally normal. I have to pull Evie along holding onto my pole because the wind is so strong. It was epic. Anyway, it just goes to show, like, even though I lived in the Alps for 10 years, actually, the weather often was pretty similar where we were to very rarely like if it was a rubbish day, it was rubbish everywhere. That change in the weather gave us a bit of a like, we did not expect it to be like that. It didn't look like that up there, only because like we're both mountain experienced that we were like, yeah, this is probably the limit that we do. We've got the right kit. The kids have got, apart from trainer choice, the kids are fine. They're warm. We know we can get off this. We've got loads of food. We've got drink. We've got shelter. But it was the first time probably that I've experienced that, like, God, how different the weather can be. Also, and I experienced, I did a really long run with Debs and Fiona, a little bit with Fiona. She's doing spine. Maybe she's doing spine right now. Love ya. Go for it. The wind on the top of the hills, when you get to the top, can be absolutely like take your breath away, take your feet away, and then people are stopping on the tops, and I'm like, if you just drop down 200 meters, that's where you get your food and your kit. Yeah. Anyway, we dropped off the top and got down and put more kit on, got the Haribos out, shoved it into everybody's mouth. We were all fine, but it was a real adventure. And then because the going was so bad, it was so icy, we were like, again, they had their Garmins, they knew there was 6 miles then back over really quite testing terrain. We had a couple of watching the climbs, another couple of big climbs coming as well. But we finished 2025. We got our head torches on, watched like little bits of lights coming on over the little villages, sat on the top, had a flask of tea. Kids had some more sweets, and then came down the 2,000-foot climb in our netball shoes. It was great, but it was a moment when I thought, and I loved that thought, and I think we could all think of that thought when we're in a moment where we think, we want to panic, but we almost convince our brains by being the pilot of the airplane going, this is all fine. This is perfectly normal. We expect this turbulence and we are good. So that was great. And then, last thing, when we got home, we'd been out all day in this super wind. All the skin off our lips had gone, really red cheeks. Got a takeaway and all the kids are like, Mum, put James Bond on. They were like, there is nothing like that feeling. I thought, my work here is done. I've exhausted children and they've got that like been in the hills all day, tired legs. Now let's eat all the food. And they were like, we love this.
What would you take away?
Who then went to the New Year's Eve party, and I had to stay up till 1 o'clock to pick him up, and that was a poor life choice.
1 o'clock. That's strong.
What was it? So we had a pizza, and then Eve was like, I could do noodles as well. Should we get Chinese? So we did two, Gary. We did a double take. It was brilliant.
He wants to go to the Chinese buffet in Durham. That's how I spent
they've
my...
never been to one of those. That is a great shout. Maybe Uncle Gary should take them.
While you're on a Monroe watching New Year come in, I'm on a Chinese coma on the sofa, basically.
Is that what you did? Yeah, the Chinese.
It's become an unofficial tradition. We end up in Durham. The guy came round, said it's 2 for 1 on lager, which was, that's a dangerous start to it. Obviously, George is under 18. Lisa wasn't drinking because she was driving. The guy was like, you just have 2 pints. So I am 2 pints in. I think I had 3 plates of buffet. But on the Chinese buffet, it's incredible. You could have a full roast dinner, but with noodles and like sweet and sour chicken and all the kind of egg foo young. You could really mix it up. It's incredible. I needed my stretchy pants for that one. And I did myself in. I had no dessert. We tried a little walk around Durham just to get things moving. Nothing would work. All I could visualise was getting home and lying on the sofa with Rex and watching the New Year come in.
Lovely big hike, lots of hikes with the kids. And then my other big, lovely adventure was I said to Debs, do you want to meet for a long run? Because I find that easier in the holidays is just to put like, can I have one day? I just go, getting a long run in from home is tricky. I said, just plan us a 20 miles in the Ock Hills. And we used Strava, I say we, she did it, Strava heat maps. We had no idea where we were going. It was great. We set off on the wrong direction. Someone shouted us. I don't think the path is our way. Anyway, talking about long runs being 6 hours, it was 6 hours out, about 5.5 hours moving time. Like, it was such a good route. The Ock Hills are such good training because they are, we were like, when do we stop going up? We'd done like 1,300 meters, I think in like 6 miles. We were just going like up. Then we had quite a bit of running. And then Strava had said it was 6,000 feet and it ended up being 7,000 feet. They're quite like steep ups, steep downs, like constantly up and down, but there's nothing like technical. So it's all like stomping with your poles. The downs are they're not easy, but they're not like going to ruin your legs. Having said that, my legs are still quite stiff and lots of running in between. I did say to Debs, we've done a lot of running. And I said the lowest point of our runs ever together was when we ran with Dan on his Le Jog world record. And we ran 35 miles on the A9 with him. And it was horrendous. I said, if that's our worst run, this is possibly in our top percent. We're never going to beat clear blue skies, bogs frozen solid. So we were like skipping over the box, fresh air, mince pie full bellies. Like, I'm not going to beat that run for 2026. Yeah. So running wise, I feel like I got a good aerobic boost, probably the same as you. And now I've kind of looked at January is pretty busy for us. We've got quite a lot on, haven't we? And so I've looked and actually planned like how I'm going to fit in these long days in the hills, pepper that with uphill treadmill and some longer, flatter stuff. Actually, the climbing all comes in the first half of Northern Traverse, and then you still need to be able to run. But I think you need to harden your legs off because it is almost 10,000 feet of downhill. You've got to have in your legs by the time you get to Shap. And so you've got to be super comfortable with that.
I'm missing that. I think I'm neglecting that at the moment, but I'm just choosing to spend my time local because when you go away... Or when you go where you get in the car, it's just time away from family, especially at the moment when people are home. So to stay home. So I really struggled on my Sunday run, I think with my heavy flex Friday.
That is huge.
Then
You're
the
not
Sunday...
recovered. You haven't got your glycogen stores back together.
No.
Within 48 hours, I think I say this and you seem to be able to play with this fire with your headlamps. you seem to be able to recover from all this. I think it's the Chinese.
I've said before, even though I don't listen to a lot of the whispers, the one thing I do is feel like a champion. The night before my long run, my dream was basically I watched like a landslide, like the coastal path slip on the route that I was doing the next day.
Did you take that as a sign? I'd have been like, baby Jesus is sending a sign.
Well, I've Googled it to see if there's anything more to it. Should I tell you what it's supposed to mean? So you're overwhelmed, emotions or responsibilities piling up until they give way. Sudden change. Something in your life is shifting quickly, not gradually. If I was losing footing in the dream, feeling like your usual stability isn't quite there, repressed pressure. Christ, I've got 52 years of repressed pressure. Things you've been holding back finally breaking loose. It's
so
not a prediction.
Here, Gary.
It's a metaphor your brain uses when it's trying to process intensity.
I think this is all pulling way too much into Gary Thwaites' mind. I think
there is some positives though.
tired.
It's not all negatives. On the positive side, you could be clearing all ground, making space for something new, a release of pressure, a transition you're ready for, even if it feels messy.
Anyway, you're here, so the land didn't fall beneath you.
Well, I was relieved when I saw the tide was out, because my visualization was landslide, me and the sea. So when the tide was out, I was like, okay, I might be on the beach. I'll be okay though for a few hours. But I think I had a solid week, 90 miles, all the workouts apart from the hill strides. Vert was okay. Lots going up, not so much going down.
If you're listening to this and you go, oh my God, 90 miles, I struggled with 20 miles last week, just take a breath. Also, he did most of that on the treadmill, so it's quick.
That's not true. I do need to, if there's anything I would like to add to my week, I'm neglecting mobility. That has gone to the wayside, although I'm doing more gym work and strides. Struggling with strides. Don't seem to be able to get to grip with
We'll do
strides.
them. Stop slacking.
Is this a resolution? 50 press-ups a day?
Oh, fire. Did I tell you about that? So we were talking about resolutions, what we're going to do. And I didn't actually really want to do a fitness health related one, but this is what one of the kids wanted to do with me. We spent a whole evening making charts to tick, which was quite fun. I used to do a lot of press ups, and I think in the winter I do less because the floor's really cold in the garage. So I tend to do my big compound movements, and I don't go down on the floor so much to do core and stuff. And so I started off, I could do about 15 and then needed a break. And within we're only on the 6th. So yesterday I did 35. No break. I added a bit of core in because I was like, this is too quick. First few days, I would say I was like, this is awful. And I'm doing it with the child who gets in my head and goes, have you done it yet? I've done mine. I did mine this morning. Have you already done? I'm like, I'm doing them in the evening. Back off. But I'm really enjoying it. And I thought about this seems a lot, but actually very quickly I've got much quicker at doing them. And also I've given myself a little bit of grace. I think we're going to talk about this in a little bit of time, of how I'm doing it as well. Have you got any New Year's resolutions?
Well, I was just thinking how our resolutions and New Year's Eve differ. While I'm getting in a comatose Chinese buffet situation. So my New Year's resolution...
with our tea and our madeleines and head torches.
One day I'm going to go for the XL plate, Toby Carvery. I think everyone should try that.
I thought you tried that. Didn't you get a gold membership at some point?
I would like to get... because I'm so uptight, and I would like to get steaming drunk once this year.
Should we do it together?
Proper steaming drunk.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? I don't drink at all now.
And do you go out hard, Northern Traverse, so you're on all the photographs for just a little bit?
Is that one of your resolutions?
I'll be half
You need to be
everybody.
top 3 for Steve Ashworth to be chasing you around, Gary. That's when you know your race is going well. I can tell you where he goes. Yeah, you got to go out fast at the front. You got to get to, what's it, Ennerdale, is it? You got to get to Ennerdale in the top 3.
One of the New Year's resolution was kind of tidy things up. So by 10 o'clock on the 1st of January, after parkrun, I'm shoving a banana loaf in my face with a coffee. And then I think in the evening we're at Toby Carvery. Totally. I'm drinking booze and eating treats, all the things I thought.
Off the rails.
I said no alcohol.
If you're running 90 miles a week, you can eat. You need to eat exactly.
I can't. I wish I could. Eddie. Maybe when I was 30 years ago, I could pull that off, but no.
Yeah, it doesn't sit the same way, does it?
Any TV? Did you watch any TV this over Christmas?
I haven't watched anything. I see the series 2 of The Night Manager's out, but we haven't got around to watching that. Oh, we started The Traitors. That's what we did do. Did you start that?
No, I see it on iPlayer. Definitely going to be. It's had a little bit of a format change, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's a little bit of format change. We've even got a notebook now. We're making our own bets of who we think all the different... We won't say anything because people might not have started watching it if things have been busy. We've done a couple of James Bond, which we love because...
Incredible.
We've always loved those, and you can watch those. So I never get bored. Not many things I watch again and again and again.
Do you prefer James Bond or Mission Impossible?
Oh, James Bond. You can't even compare. You cannot even compare.
You watched the latest Superman. That was good. Enjoyed that. Family.
We started Wonder Woman, and then that's weird.
Oh, that's easy on the eye. I'd keep watching.
I think that's why the boys carried on watching.
Superman has a super dog. Superman as a super dog.
Oh, I'm
superpowers.
all into that. I'm all into
And it
that.
could have been, maybe that was going to spoil it. There's no spoilers, but I think Superdog was a great addition to Superman.
I think Superdog is a great addition to anything.
Thanks, Phoenix Lights, for sponsoring Brew the Coaches. The best design comes from the actual needs of users. Phoenix takes providing mobile lighting products with excellent performance as the goal and born for harsh environments as its mission. Never forget why you started, and your mission can be accomplished. Head over to www.phoenixlight.co.uk to find out more. And don't forget, patrons can enjoy 10% off, and all you lovely listeners can get 5% off with the code TNT5. All the discount codes are either in the description or Linktree or Patreon. Phoenix Light Up Your Limits global story campaign is live. Show Phoenix your epic adventures with Phoenix products and share your stories for a chance to win from a $20,000 prize pool. Eddie, you should have sent in some pictures. The whole family in Phoenix products.
We lit up Scotland with our every family. Yeah, which one do you want? Which one do you want? I've got one with a red flashing light. I've got one with the warm glow. I've got the super headlight. Roll up, roll up.
Well, how to enter? One, you need to share your photos and videos of your adventures with the hashtag Phoenix Break Limits and tag at Phoenix Light. Two, or you can email your stories to marketing_10@phoenixlight.com. $20,000 will be distributed in 4 stages with $200 guaranteed for each winner in every stage. Monthly picks will win exclusive Phoenix product. 2, share your extreme moments with Phoenix. They can't wait to see your stories. This is not a tea and trails competition, so for more details, please head over to @PhoenixLight on Instagram. This week's Brew the Coaching question is anonymous. I'm a very keen ultra runner, and I did my first ultra when I was 26, and since then I have consistently run between 80 to 100 kilometers a week. Strength trained, yoga, raced several hundred milers, countless ultras, and was first female in a 300k race last year, all whilst working full time. I'm now 33, and it is time to start thinking a bit more about our future family rather than my trail adventures. Prior to getting pregnant, on the recommendation of my doctor, I reduced my running to 60 to 70k per week over the last 3 months. Whilst the doctor was supportive that there was no need to stop running entirely, she advised that realistically losing multiple nights of sleep to mammoth ultras wouldn't be helping my chances of getting pregnant. So I blocked the summer out for a maintenance program of less running, more strength, yoga and general relaxation, with an incentive 100 miler penciled in November, just in case nothing happened. And it worked. I am now 5 weeks pregnant, which is both extremely exciting and quite scary. My question is, how much running should I keep doing when pregnant? I'm feeling absolutely fine so far. No morning sickness, no terrible symptoms, and running feels no different yet. Should I stick to 60k per week and just see how I feel and take it down if and when things start to feel harder? Or is that too much? Is there any point in doing interval speed workouts? I would normally do one different interval session and one hill session per week. Or should I just stick to easy social running and hiking? I want to do everything I can to look after my baby whilst also looking after myself and getting to keep doing what I love. Thanks for all your help with this. I imagine there's loads of different answers to this question depending on each athlete and their pregnancy. It won't just be one size fits all, but that's the end of my mansplaining. Eddie, any help?
Firstly, I think we should say congratulations. How exciting. This came in a few. So hopefully you're through the first trimester now and you're feeling well and perhaps still running. And absolutely, the first thing I would say to this, and if you are a female athlete or if you are perhaps a partner and you're supporting somebody who is trying to get pregnant or is in the early stages of pregnancy and as a runner, it is a minefield to navigate. But it is also, sadly, there's no textbook. Like, for your running training, it's pretty much standard. This is what you need. This is the ingredients you need to do to get fitter. And everybody responds a bit differently to that ingredient. So how much you put in might be a bit variable, but those are the key elements. Whereas when you are trying to get pregnant and or pregnant running, then it is a very individual journey, and lots of athletes, especially nowadays, are having children coming back to training and saying there's nothing out there, there's no guidelines, there's no, I don't want to say experiments, but there's very little scientific based evidence, because obviously when you are pregnant, you don't want to be tested on when you're pregnant, and everybody is different and every pregnancy is different. So for instance, when I was pregnant with my first, I felt fine, I was working full time, I carried on, I was coming off the back of being at the World Championships for Ironman, so I just carried on training and I just monitored my heart rate. I did a big volume, and then second pregnancy, completely different. Hardly ran at all, stopped very early, super sick. Third pregnancy, didn't run, I don't think, a step because I was so sick, all completely different. You can't even do one pregnancy and then say that will translate across. But answering just this question, so if you were looking to perhaps have a baby, or I think going to the doctor is a really great idea to have some tests as well. I do think your doctor was probably right in saying you don't want to lose a lot of sleep, because that also sends your hormones into a spiral. We all know female athletes that still have a period, that often we get our period during these long endurance events, so hormones crash and the body goes, whoa, what is happening? And then it takes a couple of months for the cycle to reestablish itself as well. So I do think it was wise in saying you need to back off. I don't think you need to stop running. I think if it's part of your life as well, mentally as well, you need to keep going. And I think having goals as well, so that you need to carry on. You can't let your fertility journey take over and it being all about that, because that is a really that can be really tricky journey to navigate as well. But again, everybody's different and the way you handle it is different. If you do find out that you're pregnant, wonderful, happy news, then I've had like different experiences with athletes as well. Like, it is a really hard journey to navigate, because you are giving up. It's your first sort of foray into being a parent and realizing that your life is over. And you're a different person. You want to protect this little being inside you, but you still want to be yourself. You still want to run, and you've got that, like, I still want to train. The biggest thing I would say when training with pregnant is listen to your body. You must not push your body, and you need to be aware that, and every run might feel different. You might feel great some days. You might go out for a run one day and have to hike because it's too painful. The baby might be sitting on your bladder. Doing heart rate based training, I think that really helped me, because your heart rate's already about 10 beats, 15 beats higher. And so you'll be running at like your easy pace and going, oh my God, I can hardly breathe. But I think if you have your heart rate there, it sort of validates that, and you can see it and you go, I need to slow down. So I do think running on heart rate is a really good way if you're finding it tricky to navigate that journey. Especially I think the first trimester is really hard, because there's nothing, you can't say anything, you don't have a bump, you just feel rubbish, you're really tired. I think you can't even follow a plan, because like I said, some days you can feel good, some days you can't. When you feel good, you run, and some days you might not feel good for a couple of weeks, you might not run. Cross training is your friend, so embrace a bit of low impact swimming, cycling. And it's great to get some cross training in early, because if you have a tricky birth or whatever, you don't really want to be running for a good few weeks after giving birth. And so having cross training as an option to still be able to exercise and bring back your strength. So building that into your pregnancy is a great idea to run. But if you feel well, then run, carry on. It used to be like quite judgy. I remember if people saw me running with my big bump, people would be like, oh. Whereas now I think this has been normalized a little bit more. I think doctors are a bit more like, carry on doing what you normally do. And as for sessions and things, I think, again, just be heart rate led. There's no reason to stop doing little sessions and to do a little bit of a workout, but it's so much smaller than what you did before. And you just need to be mindful that when your heart rate goes up, so does the baby's. And that's not dangerous, as long as you'd got a cap on, like, actually, it's literally easy. Very easy to easy running. We're not looking for fitness gains here. We're looking to stay healthy in the pregnancy and to come out of the pregnancy being strong. Some of my pregnancies, I didn't do anything and I still came back and I was back. So don't feel like if you don't do anything, you don't feel well enough. Don't feel guilty about it, because the most important thing is that you look after the little being that you're growing and that you feel well, or you're just trying to survive if you've got horrible morning sickness or you're tired.
How was your, I suppose, mental health? Because if you had this plan A, I want to do this, but the pregnancy just didn't allow it.
Yeah, that's really hard. Taking a step off from being an athlete to actually, I can't, I'm not, there's no, but to me, the biggest joy was I was so excited about being a mum and focusing on that. But that is not something that happens naturally. And lots of female runners feel like that. It's like you do feel a bit like, I'm really happy that I'm going to be a mum and I'm going through this journey. But it's fine to also mourn the loss, the fact that you're going to need your stretchy pants and your body is changing in ways that you've never seen it be, your big boobs and your thighs get bigger and that. But it's not forever. It's just part of growing the baby, and it is all natural. And it's fine to feel that you don't want that to happen, because that is totally normal as well. It is a good idea just to check with your doctor if you've got any sort of warning signs of pregnancy, if you have a history of miscarriage as well. Chat through with your doctor about whether running is right for you as well. Or there's lots of PTs that are pre and postnatal trained as well that could probably give you a little bit of advice. Good luck if you're starting your pregnancy journey, if you are pregnant mama out there, or if you've just had your baby. I think there's a lot more guidance nowadays than there was when I first had my first, almost 16 years ago now. I think a lot of us mums have come back and showed that you can go through a pregnancy, you can come back and negotiate running and children and that journey. And it is a negotiation and it is a journey. I hope I sing this song from this song sheet of that, like, now my kids are older, but I ran all the time when they were younger. And I fought that. I held my head torch alight saying us women still need to be able to carry on doing our thing. And it's so important, and it makes us better mums to be able to carry on running, or whatever your dream looks like, whatever that is.
Thanks, Harrier Trail Running, for sponsoring our Strava Club and Tales from the Trails. Harrier is the UK's fastest growing brand for trail runners, providing specialist kit designed for superior fit, comfort and function with the best customer support. Check them out for race vests, waterproofs, poles and other trail essentials at www.harrierrunfree.co.uk, where you can also download your free copy of How to Run an Ultra Guide. If you'd like to save 10% on your purchase from Harrier, then use the code TEAS10 for 10% off site-wide, or check out their brilliant trail bundles for a special 20% off. We mentioned it earlier, but I did see you crushing the influencer game at the weekend, you and Debs. Looking incredible on the trails. You were right, that damson colour is delicious. It brings
out my eyes. It's delicious. It wasn't raining, so don't come at me because it's a waterproof, but I needed more than a windproof. The windproof would have just blown off my back, actually. So I would wear a waterproof in that windy condition, because I want a proper block. But really, why I really was wearing it was because the hood was sensational, and it's got a lovely big peak. It's got a big enough hood so you can comfortably get your head torch over, and I was pulling the hood in my distressed moments right at the top of each hill. I had a hood underneath of my mid-layer hood and a buff, and then I could get this hood over, and then I could pull the peak right down so that when it was the side, when you get that ice cold headache, it was cutting that off. And also, Debs is strong on, she is great. I was not getting my phone out. She will though. She will sacrifice fingers. And I have to say, I did look pretty sensational in that damson colour. It's a new colour. There's not many other jackets in that colour, and I loved it.
They'll be sold out. harrierrunfree.co.uk.
Middle-aged woman.
I wore mine too. So I think I mentioned last week, mine is a small and it's quite a roomy fit, and normally that would trigger me because I like things skin tight. But because of this Arctic blast, I've been running with my insulated running top.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
fits underneath and then without strangling my body. Well, the jacket we're talking about is the Exmo 2.5 layer waterproof jacket, built for runners who keep moving whatever the weather. Weighed from just 236 grams, this lightweight waterproof jacket delivers serious protection without slowing you down. Perfect for long training sessions, mountain trails, ultra distance races, dog jogs, or even if you're mooching around the town and the weather looks changeable. And at $94.99, it won't break the bank. Head over to www.harrierrunfree.co.uk.
I can't wear my running waterproofs as casual wear, Gary, because as I walk past people, they would be like, oh my God, something has died here.
So I ran already today. If I was going to run again, not in public, I'd be fine.
I've run today, and my base layer's just gone on the radiator, and I'll put it on
but
again
I'm going
later.
to a public space. I'm going to the gym.
Couldn't care less. I'd wear it.
I don't want to be the stinky guy down the gym.
Oh, I see. Couldn't get less. I'd be stinky. I'm stinky just like recording this. At the end of this, I have to have a spray of deodorant. Worked up a fug.
First up on this week's Strava Club is Tom Scott, 66.9 miles for the week, longest run of 16.9 miles, and total elevation 6,165 feet. Swift on the bike, hill reps, XC, and his team got gold too. Great way to start 2026, Tom. Darren Horrocks up next, 64.9 miles, the longest run of 21.5 miles and 3,228 feet of vert. So the 21.5 miles run, that was the Guild Whale run to see the year out. Full Northern Traverse kit, including cold weather extras. He ran with the Innovate Race Pack 20, and that swallows up everything with room to spare. Testing out some Tecton 3s too. Ooh, would that be your shoe of choice?
I do love a Tecton 3. The only thing I found when I did Winter 200 on them was the toe box is quite narrow. And it did me over after about 100 miles. So it won't be my shoe of choice for Northern Traverse, no.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you my shoe of choice because I don't want you to.
I'd never get my fat feet in Hoka Tectons. No chance. I remember Dragon's Back race. My feet were absolutely shredded because I ran with the Innovates, whatever they were called. Day 4, day 5, I think my feet had swollen so much I needed... No, the shoes had started to perish. That was it. So my second pair of shoes, massive idiot, were these skin-tight Hoka Tecton 1s. That was not fun times trying to put those.
That is the Northern Traverse with the Year of the Water. That is I think the most pain I've been in a race was at the bit after Richmond, which is quite flat, and that you go.
Yeah.
But there was serious flooding. And my feet were had such bad, you saw them. And every time I went through water, I just had to scream and scream and scream as the cold hit those cracks in my skin. And then the half mile out of the water, I would just scream all the way. Can't wait to do it again.
Well, this is why ultras are such a mystery, because you see, if you did an Northern Traverse last year and the race didn't go to plan, but it was a glorious weather year, you go, I'm going to go put the wrongs right next year. You rock up, it is biblical, horrendous weather. Different set of challenges thrown at you. Yeah, the mystery.
What are we going to get? Hey, as Keely Hodgkinson says, it's already decided. It's already decided what weather we're going to get, Carrie. So it'll be what it will be.
Last up in the Strava Club is Sophie Clark, 100.1 miles. I wonder if she just got that over the 100-mile mark just so it was safe on Strava. And just sometimes when, I don't know, my Garmin said one distance and it's gone onto Strava and it's been a 0.1 digit under. I wonder if that was the motivation. Longest run. Oh, we've all done it back in the day, running around with our Garmins trying to round the miles up. Longest run, though, of 26.3 miles and 10,463 feet of vert. Request to follow, so I'm not too sure what Sophie's been up to, but yeah, 100-mile week.
Huge week.
Longest run, over 26 miles, and all that vert too. Good job, Sophie. Kudos to hard mowers, my goodness me, for still getting the race on in proper wintry conditions.
Oh my goodness.
I saw all the social media unfolding as people were struggling to make it to the start line on Saturday. But yeah, the hard mowers 30 podium looks like this. Tom Wilson took the win. Liam Riley from North Leeds Fell Runners came second, and Matty Winspear completed the podium. Verity Scott took the win for the ladies. Angie McKinney came second and was first V52. Then 3 minutes later came Lornie, Pride from Silverback Trails to complete the ladies' podium. Great run, and kudos to the marshals and Shirley and John too. I think it was a very challenging day for everybody involved.
Heavy flex. I'd love to give the most heavy of flexes to my most wonderful friend and inspiration, Helen Milton Smies, who last month completed the Winter Downs 200 in 93 hours, 33 minutes and 2 seconds. Helen first tried the Winter Downs 200 2 years ago, but sadly did not finish, despite giving it an amazing shot. She then went back and completed the Winter Downs 100 last winter before coming back in 2025 to have a bash of the 200. Boy, did she smash it. Her dedication to training, planning and super strong mindset paid off in abundance, and she finished with everything going to plan, just how it should be. I can't begin to imagine being out there for that long and what tricks your mind must play on you, let alone how your legs must feel. I first met Helen in a bivouac on the MDS 2023 when we shared a tent along with another 6 amazing people who I'm proud to call friends. or fellow not jobs, for life. She never ceases to amaze me. She's such a supportive friend and has since crewed me at the Arc 100 last year, which I DNF'd, and has crazy agreed to come and give me another try this year as I seek vengeance. We have also completed the Druids Challenge together, and I'd not rather share a sports or camp bed with anyone else. A recent solo move from the southeast up to the Lake District has just cemented her hero status, and she's a total inspiration to me. Always full of strength, courage, determination, and wise words and advice. I know I speak for everyone in Tent 82, Helen, when I say we are so proud of what you achieved, and also what more you will go on to do. Hells bells, you are amazeballs. Love, Naomi Lunn and all of Tent 82 2023. Oh my goodness. I'd love a heavy flex like that from you, Gary.
The love bomb, wasn't it?
It was a total love bomb. Sending on the love. Really enjoyed. I followed Helen's dot on the Winter 200 and she was strong and steadfast all the way. Well done. And sounds like you've got a lovely friend in Naomi as well.
Tales from the trails.
Hi, Eddie and Gary. I just wanted to drop you a quick note to say thank you and to share a little update. Earlier this year, you kindly read out my 50 marathons in 2025 challenge, and I'm very happy and a bit emotional to say I've now completed it. I'd set this challenge during my 50th year, running in memory of my dad and to raise funds for two charities very close to my heart, Dementia UK and Reuben's Retreat. It hasn't been without its challenges. With just 10 marathons to go, I picked up an injury, inflamed hip bursitis. With 3 weeks off and no improvement, I ended up completing 5 marathons on the treadmill. That period really tested me, but I always had my why, and that kept me going. The final marathon took place on Saturday, 20th December, and felt like the perfect way to finish. I ran the first 11 miles on my own, then headed to a local woodland area where friends joined me to complete the rest, 5 loops of 5k. People turned up throughout the day to run a lap, a couple of laps, or all 5, while others came simply to cheer and support. We finished the day back at my gym with a bit of fizz and some nibbles, a lovely relaxed end to a very big year of running. To date, the challenge has raised £5,300, and I'm incredibly proud of what's been achieved. I truly hope my dad would be proud too. Thank you again for the support you gave the challenge earlier in the year. I look forward to my runs to listen to your podcasts. They help keep me motivated all the way through. Best wishes, Claire. That should be in the heavy
incredible.
flex and the Tales from the Trails. We'd loved hearing how you've done that challenge, and hope it inspires other people to step up and do their own little challenge perhaps as well. Little challenge, shouldn't say that. Big challenge. We love your Tales from the Trails, heavy flexes, birthday shout outs and reviews. Please keep them coming. Email hello@teaandtrails.com and pop whatever is in the subject. Birthday shout out, heavy flex, Tales from the Trails. Very important, especially if it's a birthday shout out, because it will be moved to the top of the important inbox.
Over £5,000 raised. That's incredible. Yeah, your dad would be proud.
Incredible.
Thanks, Precision Fuel and Hydration, for bringing us home. Their website and newsletter are such good source of knowledge, articles to read, and YouTube content to binge on too. On YouTube, you can learn how to fuel an ultramarathon, what pro runners carry on race day, and how to nail your marathon prep. Precision Fuel and Hydration's handy, free online sweat test and nutrition planner will help you personalize your hydration and fueling strategy so you can perform at your best. Still, my most used product is the pH30 gel. Another drop is arriving today. I've had the Royal Mail. It is coming.
What you gone for?
First race of the year is Saltburn Marathon, and I've gone for loads of the basic pH30 gel because I plan to gel it all the way.
All over your body. Yeah, I love that.
I might punctuate it with maybe a little cheeky Snickers or a bag of crisps or something like that.
No time for that when you're in zone 5, Gary. Snot everywhere. Let me through, do you know who I am?
How much effort do you put into that race? Because it is still part of training for a wider race, but then my ego says, I want to see what I can do on that day. And also I'm trying to compare myself to Gary of 10 years ago. So there's a lot
to unpack there.
But ultimately, I don't want to bury myself, so I can't train the following week.
It all sounds super healthy.
I just know if I go off too slow, my ego won't be happy. We'll see. Head over to www.precisionhydration.com and don't forget patrons get a whopping 20% off. But if you would like to try Precision Fuel and Hydration, then you're in luck. Use the code T20 2026 for 15% off your first purchase.
Something I wish I'd done, which I didn't do at the weekend, was put my gels into the little flow bottle gels, because I could not tear those strips off when it was cold and I didn't want to take my gloves off. Planned enough gels for the time out, and then I got to my last 2 gels, and the second to last one, I tore the strip, but it hadn't torn the entry point open. So the entry was blocked and there was nothing I could do. And so that one is still in my bag to be cut open. And so I thought, why did I not? I'd forgotten about my little bottles in cold weather, and you just pour, either use the flow gel or just pour your gels into that, and then you don't need to worry
it's a
about
good
the
shout if the weather's cold.
And when you're racing as well, just decant them, just open them. Why bother?
Well, I do that anyway. If it's more, to be honest, if it's a technical course and I don't want to
don't use
smash
your
my
teeth
out. Yeah. I saw this on my social media at the weekend and I just had to share it with our community. Carol Morgan completed a winter solo unsupported Bob Graham. This is cut from Carol's Facebook post. Up to yesterday evening, there has never been a female solo unsupported winter Bob Graham round. I've had numerous goes in the past, but have been outfoxed by things such as weather, navigation, fitness, bag weight, and also the psychology of self-management on such a big solo challenge. After my 5th attempt a few years ago, I told Simon I won't try it again, but roll on the next winter and I was off to the Moot Hall again. The failures, DNFs, stuck under my skin for a long time, so the challenge remained on my wish list. I set off again on December the 28th with a few close friends to see me off. The clag was tough overnight, balancing this with keeping moving, self-motivating, eating, drinking, carrying all my food, clothing and emergency gear. The fatigue meant I was 1.5 hours down on the 23.5 schedule by Wasdale. I had a few lovely hours over the rocks in sunshine, so I just kept going. On the climb out of Honister, more mizzle started and the viz reduced to a couple of metres again. I couldn't remember the exact distance from the bottom of Robinson to Moot Hall, but made a vow with myself that I'd just give it all I had. 9th or 10th time after setting off, I finished for the first time, 23 hours, 54 minutes after I started. I'm a stubborn fecker. Also, huge congrats to Arthur Hill and James Gibson for their amazing winter adventures. Lots of learning, not failures there, Carol, but incredible effort, in proper wintry conditions. And that leads us on nicely, actually, to something that we thought we'd end the show with this week. A little chat about DNFs and trying again.
And Eddie, this is the 2025, my one race of 2025 was a DNF. But a little bit like Carol, like at the time, you don't say it like that. If you go back and listen to my race across Scotland, there's a broken woman on the end of that microphone. But it was, and always is, our failings, we don't learn anything from successes. They are short-lived triumphs, aren't they? And you feel good and you move on to the next thing. But a failure, as like Carol, that will stay with me. That I will think of that a lot, of her absolute tenacity. How
10 years,
that
incredible.
She kept going back, and I think that is one of the biggest draws of our sport, isn't it? Of like actually the failures. Anyone that's had a DNF and it sticks under your skin and you can't get away from it, but you learn so much more. I totally have changed my outlook on everything since Race Across Scotland. I had to go back to the drawing board with everything. I look at myself. I treat myself completely differently. I think mentally everything has changed.
It's quite common to have a DNF. We set big goals, big scary challenges. The odds are stacked. When you look at, say, the finishing rate for 100 milers, 200 milers, it could be a relatively flat one or a race like the Lake 100. The odds are stacked against you, and it's perfectly fine to mourn a DNF. We pour so much into it, and like I say, the odds are stacked against us.
But it's also okay to then learn, reflect. I always say this to people and my kids: as long as you learn from it, what am I going to make of the changes? Try again, and then it might not happen again. Look at Carol. I think it'll be our go-to. It will be like, look, what would Carol do? It might not be just because we've had one DNF. It doesn't mean then, we're solidified against them and it's never going to happen again. It is going to happen again. We need to learn, and we might not learn enough, and we might make the same, which we do, the same mistakes again, or different mistakes, and then we reassess and moving on. And that is what is so brilliant about our sport and about what we do as well. And then so much of that you can then take into your life as well. And like
Yeah.
life is constant getting to signposts and going, but I want to go right, look at those hills, I want to go over there. And then actually your feet are going, no, you're going left through that brambly, horrible, boggy path. You can't see the reason for it now, but actually through those bogs and those brambles and that horrible, sketchy downhill, is there going to be something brilliant that you can't see on the horizon? So it's about dealing with what you've got at that moment, but not giving up as well. Like every time you get to a little bit of a barrier, reassess what have I learned? What do I need to do?
Have you ever identified why it hurts so much after a race that didn't go well? I think of things like maybe possibly a little embarrassed that what other people might think of my performance. And ultimately we come to realize that, yeah, thankfully nobody cares. I don't know, I visualized a version of myself after. I don't know what it would be.
Yeah.
It's like when I chased 3 hours for the marathon, and that took me a long time to get. And where you learn from experiences, see, when I did, fortunate enough with some hard work and a bit of luck, I ran under 3 hours for the marathon. It was brilliant for, 10 seconds? And then everything was exactly the same. So I do try and use that when things have gone bad or negatively in a race result. So yeah, I do try and identify what is it that's actually hurting about this result. That's my first port of call.
To help with that hurt and help with the disappointment, if we're all going to have DNFs in our trail running or races that suck, we might drag ourselves over the finish but disappointed. And that's why I think we have to the process, talk about the ingredients in the recipe as well. You have to love those bits more than anything else. And you have to have loved the training block. You have to have loved the jeopardy of fitting in the training and around work and family, and see what that has given you and given the people around you, and perhaps inspired some people, your kids or your partner or, people at work. Oh, wow, it's amazing. If the actual outcome isn't what it is, then we have to be able to go, it didn't work out this time. But when I stood on that start line, I'd done everything I could with the time and what are the resources I had. That is my win as well. And then, Carrie, I get a bit of a kick from getting knocked down, because I am a believer of like our path is written, and I'm like, okay, I've got knocked down. I've had it so many times. I'm not taking it. I'm putting that playlist back on, and I'm going to warm myself. I'm going to be like Wonder Woman out of those trenches. I'm going to stand back up. I'm going to dust myself off, and nobody is knocking me down again. Oh my God, then I get knocked down again. I'm like, okay, okay, I see where we're going. I'm going to get back up again. And I think Carol is the embodiment of that. And I think we could learn a lot from just that resilience of showing up. And it might just be like just the resilience of being able to show up and do 3 runs a week.
Well, that's the confidence building side of it afterwards. When you do you ever have a post-mortem? It's not like I'm not putting myself on trial. I sometimes try to look at like what was in my control, what wasn't. Did I ignore any signals that maybe should have been red alerts early on? What did I learn about my body, when you put it under stress? So I do have this little kind of post-mortem.
It's always a mistake we've made. And it's always when we look back, it's so easy to reflect back and go, that moment when I didn't take that gel because I didn't tear the wrapper off, or I didn't put my gloves on, or, did I go a bit fast in that first day or first 10 miles? Why didn't I check that my head torch battery, was supercharged, or that it hadn't turned on in my bag? Or why did I not change my socks, or I put those socks? Like, it's always user error, nearly always user error, isn't it? You and I, we're old hands, we're old, but we still make those. I still make the mistakes in training. I turn up and be like, what did I have for lunch? Why do I feel you knew you had this session to do. You haven't had that snack. You planned to have that snack. You haven't had it. Now you feel awful. Or you're on the treadmill. You're like, where's my gel? I didn't bring a gel. Well, you haven't helped yourself here, have you? And it's life. And I love the fact that the mistakes we make, and you can bring that resilience and you can bring that learning into your everyday life, and you do feel a little bit like bulletproof then when you're in the Sainsbury's shopping queue and you're like, I can do this. So I love that Carol started off our first one of 2026 showing exactly what I like to embody as a female, as a mother, as like a runner, of like, get knocked down, get up again. Carol, you won't mind me saying it doesn't mean anything, but actually it does mean everything. It means everything. It's shown such strength, such character, and to be out there doing that yourself, and wow, pulling it back from WASDA, like everything about it, I'm just like, what a legend. I
do enjoy when I've kind of gone through my little stages of pulling it all apart. You mentioned it a few minutes ago. I'll go on this confidence building exercise, and I'll
you are great at that.
I'll collect positive experiences basically, and then I might try and look for maybe what the next goal is. And the next goal doesn't always have to be
Going
bigger,
back to the scene
longer.
of the crime. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
like
we
there's no coincidence 2026 looks like for me after Northern Traverse. I've just filled it full of trail marathons. Gone back to community where I first found trail running. I think after multiple years of bruising 100 milers, I needed the challenge, but I needed to be part of the community and part of like the joy again. Yeah, it doesn't always have to be bigger, longer, further, harder, more colder, more elevation.
Yeah.
And also, it has to fit spine race. It's on everybody's radar currently. I push my luck as it is to try and train for that event like I'd want to. I just don't think I could really do it. So it's quite important to look at the challenge and actually look at your life too and what you can put into it, because if the two don't align, you're just kind of destined for
your threads are going to be threadbare. One of them is going to snap, aren't they?
Yeah.
So let's all be more like Carol, show that resilience, that strength of spirit, and find the joy in the work.
January's competition is supported by our friends Phoenix Light UK. One lucky listener could win a HM55R headlamp or head torch. Phoenix HM55RD. It's got 1200 max lumen output, lightweight aluminium construction, 105 grams. That's including battery, USB charging port, 2.5 hours fast charge, user replaceable, battery IP68 rated. So that's going to have you sorted for dust and waterproof. And it's also submersible up to 2 meters. And yeah, if you drop it on the floor, if it's 2 meters or under, it should be okay because it's got a 2 meter impact resistant rating. And to be in with a chance of winning, you need to pop over to Instagram. You need to like the Instagram post and tag a friend in the comments. Also, share the post to your stories and give Phoenix Light UK and Tea and Trails a follow. This competition closes at midnight on the 30th of January 2026. This competition is for Instagram only, and one winner will be picked at random and contacted by direct message.
Thanks for tuning in. We love you. We love you for listening, and we love you for sharing. Pop over to Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, subscribe, or even consider becoming one of our awesome 2026 Patreons. Thanks to X Miles, Precision Fuel and Hydration, Phoenix Light UK, and Harrier Trail Running for sponsoring the show. Here are the discount codes: T10 2025 for Shocks, TNT5 for Phoenix, T2026 for Precision Fuel and Hydration, and T10 for Harrier Trail Running. Thanks to our partners and patrons too. We couldn't do this without you and your ongoing support.
Good luck to everybody out on the trails, racing, training, recce's, solo miles or miles with mates. Yeah, good luck to all the people who are taking on one of the spine races this week. It's not just about the spine race though. Hellfire Events have another backyard ultra in Dover this weekend, and that event is number 2 in the series. Good luck to Ryan and the team, plus everybody else towing the line. Let the trail or tarmac rise to meet you, and the treadmill calibration. Be kind to your future self. Breathe and believe. Roll with the joy, and the miles will look after themselves. And if all else fails, chase the ball. My name is Gary Thwaites.
And I'm Eddie Sutton.
And that was the Tea and Trails podcast.